Today we're going to be doing a question and answer session, and you're free to type in any comments, any questions that you have and you want to ask us about your training. So today we've got a specific topic that we'd like to bring to you, just to help kick off the questions and answers. Janine,
Yeah.
you want to tell us what it's all about?
Oh yes. So obviously, probably a lot of you are staying home for quite a while now, and maybe you're running out of ideas or out of steam or out of motivation. So we would like to give you some advice today on how you can stay motivated, how you can go about your daily life, what you can do to basically don't go crazy. Yeah, and usually all starts with a plan.
That's right, yeah. So we came up with a few ideas of what we do in order to stay motivated with our training, and some techniques that really help us. So we want to share those with you, and hopefully it will help you to get more motivated in your training and give you more ideas on how to cope in the situation that we're in at the moment. So as Janine was mentioning, one great idea, I mean you don't have to follow any of this advice, but it's just an idea for you guys, is that you give yourself a schedule, or make a plan. So sometimes if you don't have a schedule, it's quite tricky. You don't know what you're doing from 1 minute to the next, and it's good for you to keep your focus and your direction. So I mean that can be a number of different things, from making sure that you get up at a certain time, that you schedule in your breakfast and your lunch and your dinner, making sure that you give yourself time to exercise, that you give yourself time to work on the things that you want to work on,
and also probably family time if you have family. What you're going to do with your kids. I mean, if you have children, you probably also want to kind of schedule in a bit of a routine, because I think they obviously need still, like everyone else, not just the kids, the adults need routine as well.
Need some structure. That helps. That
And
helps with your mindset.
Yeah, it really helps you. Also, it's a bit like you can take something off at the end of the day, isn't it? At the end of the day, you can say like, yeah, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, and you feel really accomplished afterwards.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And sort of if you're looking at if you're also making a plan, and some other ideas are that maybe the ways in which you engage with your diet is quite important as well. Mm-hmm. So you can look at things that you might not necessarily do. So for example, if you're working, you might be eating on the go all the time. So this is actually a really great opportunity to look at your diet and maybe address some more nutritional factors in your day. You have more time to look at your food and look at your diet, so you can maybe get creative with your cooking.
Yeah, especially, I mean, I also, obviously, sometimes it's like it's a bit difficult nowadays to just go into the shop and get what you want, because you don't know, maybe it's not there, or it's like, oh, you have to wait, and or you just do like a big shop at the beginning of the week. So it can be quite tricky, but it can also be quite interesting and experimental to find out what can I actually do with the things I've got.
Exactly, yeah, like more resourceful.
Yeah, exactly. So you find out, I was like, okay, I've got these vegetables and I've got this and this. Oh, maybe the recipe calls for this, but can I substitute it for something else, or can I try something new? And yeah, you might surprise yourself of what happens, and you create a new dish, or even if it fails, don't worry too much. You try again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's good. So when we were talking about our schedule as well, we were saying that sometimes when we're working at home, if you kind of don't have a routine, it can be quite difficult. So for example, in like the Zen way, or Zen in the monastery, they would definitely have a very strict routine of what they did. So they would get up at 5 and they would do their meditation, and then they would do their cleaning, and then they would set their mind ready for the day. So sort of taking from that philosophy, you could do that for yourself as well. So you could just make sure that when you get up in the morning, that you make sure that you make your bed, that you change your clothes, that you don't hang around in your bed clothes. It's tempting sometimes. I know it's on a Sunday or a day off or something, you might just want to hang around in your bed clothes, you know, and just relax. But if you're having to do that all the time and you're staying at home all the time, then you don't want to create that every day, because that's not really great for your mindset. It doesn't kind of set you up for the rest of the day. So I would suggest...
It's like you feel fresh, isn't it? You put some new clothes on, you feel fresh, you feel good to start the day, and then you're ready to go, isn't it?
And if you clean your space, you know, you kind of clean your environment, it's kind of like turning a fresh page, or it's kind of like how you would like to set the rest of the day for yourself. Even if your house isn't dirty, or, you know, sometimes we're in the temple here, it's not always needs to be cleaned, but sometimes we clean it anyway because it sets our mentality, it puts us in the right space of frame of mind for how we want to continue with the rest of the day. So that might be quite useful for you guys. So if you've got any comments and you want to ask us any questions, you can do. Just type in the box at the side. So we're just waiting to hear from you, what you think about what we're saying. Maybe you don't agree, maybe you do agree. You just come and type in and give us some questions to answer.
Maybe you can give us some ideas as well. You can also tell us. I mean, obviously in this time where you find yourself, you have some time and maybe sometimes you don't know what to do with yourself. Obviously there's a lot of creative things you can do. So I'm sure anyone can do anything. So don't tell me you can't draw, or you can't play music, or you can't dance. There's something out there for you to do. So it could be that you either want to make something, or build something, or I don't know, write something. You can just write things down, or you draw something, or you play an instrument, you learn a new song, or you write a song, sing. You can practice your instruments, you can practice your, like if you do Kung Fu, you practice your techniques at home. Or you can just listen to some nice music as well to get you into a good mood. It's like if you feel a bit down, just listen to your favourite songs, gets you going as well. And maybe you can tell us what you actually already did, or what helps you, and then we see if we can expand on this or what we can do.
I think it's quite important to keep yourself inspired. Because sometimes it's quite difficult when especially if you've been practicing martial arts for some time and you're working on the same movements over and over again. Sometimes you think, I've done this movement so many times, but actually it's really good to find ways to keep it fresh in your mind and in your training. And you can always, the more you practice, the more you're learning and you're developing and you're kind of growing. So you can. Do you find that? Do you find that when you're training, you find different ways to kind of experiment with the movements, or find creative ways in order to try it out in a different way?
Obviously, it's one thing you try yourself. You need to practice yourself many times. The other thing is watch other people do it. So see how others doing it, and then do a combination of the both. So also. Let others watch you and comment on what you are doing. So obviously nowadays with the distance, you might need to record yourself and maybe show it to some of us, or some you can give you some good advice. And then you kind of obviously go back, practice again. But usually I find, especially when you, for example, if I join your class, or if I join Chifu's class, and you be doing the same techniques, but obviously you explain it in different words, and then sometimes your words make more sense, or sometimes Shiku's words make more sense, depending on where I am at in my practice and what I need to do next. Sometimes certain things then click in my head and go like, oh yeah. Although you've been telling me for a year, but you need to have practice, and then at some point you get your light bulb moment.
I've had that many times. She will say, "Oh yeah, you need to do this. You need to do this," and then I remember thinking, "Oh, he said that like 10 years ago. Like, why didn't I hear it then?" Obviously, you're not at that stage in your training. You're just maybe just working on different areas. You're not ready to kind of go there in that time.
The other thing is also don't try to do everything at once. Kind of try to step back and then do bits by bits. Like
achievable.
Achievable
like goals.
Achievable goals.
Yeah.
Also break things down. Like even if it's like just a punch or whatever in your whole life, you can transfer this to your whole life.
Yeah, I think that's
if you feel overwhelmed by everything, isn't it? It's the same. It's like you feel overwhelmed by everything that's coming to you. Just kind of go a bit like, oh wait a minute, where do I start? And pick your starting point, and then do step by step, and that's where your schedule comes in again a bit as well.
I think that's really important as well, because obviously in this time it is really overwhelming. And you can take, some of you guys have been practicing martial arts for a little bit of time, so you remember these skills that you're learning are not just martial arts, they're transferable into your everyday life.
Yeah.
So everything that you're learning here in the temple, you're learning about yourself, you're learning about your self-development, and you're learning, and you can take those skills, like Janine said, when you come to class, you're like, oh, I can't do this movement, or it's really frustrating me, and then you take a step back and you learn how to deal with that situation. So then you can learn how to deal with that when it comes into your everyday life. I think that's why martial arts is so great, because it teaches you so many different skills and you can apply it to everything.
Yeah,
that's good. So some other areas to help you focus and get inspired is sometimes I listen to music. Sometimes that helps me. If I'm feeling like, I don't want to wake up at 5 and run. I don't want to train today, I'm really tired. So sometimes you can listen to some music that will kind of trick your brain into releasing some endorphins, and get you motivated and get you ready to kind of get you pumped.
Or you do the exact opposite, You do the exact opposite and strip everything off, Like no music, no nothing. It's just yourself.
Yeah, you can.
And you just see how you feel, How do you feel if you run 10K, What are the stages? Is it, I don't like running 10K. I don't even like running 5K. But I think if you do it, you obviously, let's say you do it without music, but you can, it's like, and if you do it outside, you can obviously see, so what is it? Is it you focus first on your body, where do you hurt, what hurts, what does your mind do? Does it say stop, or keep going, and then I think you probably come to a point where you might go like, oh, the sun is out, the birds are singing. I don't know, it's like, it's kind of notice different things, and sometimes try to change your perspective, like your angle, how you're looking at things, or
a bit more positive thinking. And sometimes if you're in like a negative frame of mind, then using things like positive phrases can help you, to help you get motivated or help you get in the right mindset. You can use some, what they call like affirmations, like positive, like I am strong, I'm feeling good, or just remind yourself you know, to stay positive. So yeah, that can really help as well.
Or if you really how do you say that, if you are a competitive person, yeah, so if you're really competitive, you can obviously set yourself some challenges, right? So again, you can challenge yourself, or you try to challenge your training buddy. Find yourself a training buddy that does exactly the same as you do, and challenge yourself. You know, see what you can achieve together. That really helps to push each other to the next level.
Maybe you guys can tell us how you practice.
Yeah.
So tell us how you train. Write down your comments and let us know what you guys are doing. Obviously, this is a question and answer session, so feel free to write whatever you like about your training, how you practice, how you find martial arts, and what you've learned from martial arts. That would be really cool. We can hear some of your stories. That would be really great. So so we're running out a little bit of time. So have we had any responses in yet?
We just have people saying hello and keep on producing videos and.
Okay,
that's
a good thing. We want to create more videos, and we obviously want to give you lots of content. We have lots of ideas, and we also have lots of things to show you, and we want to share with you. But obviously, that we need some help. Yeah. So if you obviously want us to keep going and so on, just come to our. Do we have a donation page? Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we
so
have a donation.
Come to our donation page, and if you have some spare
shrapnel,
pennies.
If you have some spare pennies, then throw them our way.
Yeah, so
it
doesn't need to be much. So every little helps, and you can keep us going, and you can keep you motivated and keep you going as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's good. So any other comments, Jack? Keep telling us what's going on. Anyone got anything to say?
So we've had a few things just come in. So someone is saying that yes, train hard, keeping fitness up.
Yeah.
Yes, agreeing that yes, we need to stay positive and not have negative thoughts, and looking at the online classes, which are Liz is finding really good.
Okay.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so obviously this is we're going to be doing this every weekend. We're going to have a question and answer. So maybe next week you can think about some ideas that you want to ask us. You can send us an email, or you can send us some comments, and we can think about answering some of your questions in this session. So I think we're coming to a close now.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for listening. And as Janine said, we would love to have some donations to keep us going, to keep us traveling here, and keep us providing the content, keep us running the temple for you guys, and keeping you inspired. So as Janine said, then dig deep in your pockets. And if you can, I understand it's a very difficult time, but if you can, that would be so helpful. So okay.
And share what you are doing actually.
Yeah,
share your progress, share your activities. And then we see you next week.
Yeah. See you next week. Bye guys.